God calls us to build habits for lasting happiness by uniting our will to His. Compassion is a key virtue and helps us to be like our loving Father. The virtue of compassion means having empathy for others and being willing to share both their joys and their suffering. Compassion literally means to suffer with. It involves having a deep feeling for the misery of another person and the desire to relieve it. Sometimes we associate compassion with the emotion of pity. However, compassion is never just emotion, as it demands putting love into action. As the Nobel laureate and Anglican Archbishop Desmond Tutu so beautifully explained, compassion is not just feeling with someone, but seeking to change the situation. Of all the parables of Jesus, the two most well-known are the prodigal son and the Good Samaritan. And both of them contain the word compassion. One parable shows us the compassion that God has for us. The other shows us the compassion we ought to have for one another. The Gospel of Luke records that when Jesus explained that the greatest commandments are to love God and to love neighbor, one of the scribes asked him, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus responded with the parable of the Good Samaritan. Compassion is the virtue of heroes, of loving parents, and of good Samaritans who serve others without counting the cost or seeking a reward. Compassion is love in action, or if you prefer, love that has legs. It is one of the most sublime and heavenly virtues because it reflects the very heart of God. Compassion makes the supernatural virtue of love visible in a broken and wounded world, starving for love, hungering for authentic Christ-like heroes, which we are called to be. Christ calls us to continue His work on earth by serving others with compassionate hearts. After He washed the apostles' feet, He said, "For I have given you an example that you also should do as I have done." The saints who have gone before us took seriously this mandate to serve others with compassion. And many people of faith continue to serve in creative and remarkable ways, in hospitals that care for the sick, soup kitchens that feed the poor, houses of hospitality that welcome the destitute, and so on. Our compassion for the wounds of others is a response to the compassion that God has shown to each and every one of us. It is a response to His call to love Him and to love one another as ourselves. As Scripture teaches, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Compassion is the virtue of heroes, and every Christian should be filled and guided by it. Our world needs more Christian heroes, and God has equipped and anointed you to be one. Learn how to build habits for lasting happiness by ordering your copy of our Ignatius Press book entitled The Willpower Advantage.